USBC Collegiate Program, I'd like to thank the following groups for their support for the Intercollegiate Team Championships. Kegel, the official lane race provider of the Intercollegiate Team Championships and professional qualifiers. The Youth Education Services Program. The YES Fund is an initiative that's dedicated to the development of youth bowling. Our future is now. The partnership already created and netting the bowling industry into a single cause, which is the betterment of youth bowling. X-Bowling, connecting bowlers around the world, allowing you to compete in challenges, win prizes, track your scores and stats, plus much more. Be sure to check out the X-Bowling display for more information. And bowling to the power of edge. Download the X-Bowling app today. Follow along to see live scores and leaderboard anytime, anywhere. Coaches, if you are making a change to your starting lane, you need to notify the control counter immediately. Also, don't forget to turn in your form for the Chris Stair Sportsmanship Award and for the All Tournament fee. And finally, for everybody, there has been a slight change to the starting time for the morning session tomorrow. The TV times for tomorrow's first matches are going to be 9 a.m. instead of 9:45. We have moved up 45 minutes. So tomorrow morning's TV time will be given at 9 o'clock a.m. Brunswick.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to our continuing live coverage of the X-Bowling Intercollegiate Team Championships here on Bowl TV. It's our third round of match play as we get started. First round of the morning. Appreciate everybody tuning in bright and early here for our live coverage of this event. Early here in Reno, at least, at the Reno Sparks Convention Center in Reno, Nevada. And we've got 2 rounds of match play in this morning session before we have a re-oil and lunch break this afternoon and a couple of more matches this afternoon. But right now we start with Robert Morris, Illinois women against Sacred Heart and San Jose State versus Lindenwood in our men's match. First team to win 4 points will win the match, and you win a point by winning a game, or you can earn a half a point for a tie. Last night, after the second round of match play, we lost 4 men's teams and 4 women's teams. But we still got 12 teams in each division battling this morning. Other matches on the women's side: Midland against Wichita State, Lindenwood versus Notre Dame, McKendree and Stephen F. Austin, Adrian versus Maryland Eastern Shore, Grandview versus Pikeville, and then our featured match, Robert Morris versus Sacred Heart. And on the men's side, in addition to Lindenwood versus San Jose State, we've got Robert Morris versus Urbana, Weber versus Wichita, Midland versus RIT, Purdue and Calumet, and Fresno State versus Clark. And those are the matches we have this morning. And you can find the live scoring so you can see the frame by frame for any bowling center in the house here. So the first team to win 4 points is going to win the match. All right, so we are underway here. Game 1 of our first match of the day, round number 3 of match play. Gary Brown, our USBC Director of Collegiate, stopping by to let me know they made a change to the schedule, a little slight change for tomorrow for the TV taping. They're going to start the first group of TV tapings at 9 a.m. tomorrow instead of 9:45, so we're going to get a little bit of an early start tomorrow. Doesn't really affect you guys watching the live streaming because we do not stream the finals because it's going to air on CBS Sports Network. Sacred Heart leading by 2 pins after 5 frames. Lindenwood up by 15, working in the 4th. Sacred Heart trying to stay in the lead here by a couple of pins. That one crossing over. Gets 9, so the lead is now 1. Looks like we're going to have a pretty close first game here between Robert Morris and Sacred Heart. Both teams are clean so far. Still a 1-pin lead for Sacred Heart, so we're in the 8th frame. Robert Morris with a big double. Let's see what Sacred Heart does here. 8th frame, working on a strike, 10-pin. So Robert Morris has the lead now by 9. Robert Morris is, as you can see by looking at the score, is a frame ahead in terms of pace. But if Robert Morris doubles in the 10th, that will shut out Sacred Heart here this game. 5 count for Lindenwood on a spare. Loosened count there, still up by 11. Seven-pin leave for Robert Morris, so Sacred Heart still has a chance. Frame for Lindenwood in the 7th. And now we are tied. Sacred Heart needs a big finish here to take this game. They get the strike in the 9th. Still have a chance. They're going to need strike 9 spare. 205. Robert Morris, best they could shoot 204.
Let's go, you Mike, let's go!
Big shot here for Sacred Heart. They need to strike. Strike 9 spare here in the 10th to win by 1. Gotta have it. Cole Trudell comes through in the 10th. Gets the strike. Our men's game is even. Tied at 109 in the 7th. Big fill ball here for Robert Morris. Looks like she got 9, so 203. 8 spare is enough for Sacred Heart to lock up the win now. Double for Lindenwood as they even the match. Sacred Heart needs 8 spare. and she gets 7. And guess what? We could have a tie if she makes it. .203 for Robert Morris. Sacred Heart can shoot .203 if they make the spare here. You're watching live coverage of the X-Bowling Intercollegiate Team Championships here on Bowl TV. First round of the morning. Lindenwood men in a little bit of trouble here this game. Looks like San Jose State may come from behind and take this game. Big shot here for Sacred Heart. Need to make the spare for the tie. Just gonna miss it. Yep, you can tell off her hand it was a little left. 203, 202. Robert Morris wins game 1. Kind of figured it was going to come down to the end. It was a very close game the entire way. Well, I said that San Jose State was in good position to win the game, and now they get up to the 10th and leave a 2-10 split. If he gets 1, they shoot 175, and Lindenwood could go spare here at 9 on the fill for 176. So San Jose State needs to make the split to guarantee the win. Lindenwood first has to make this spare, and this is a very easy one to chop. Chris got pretty lucky there. I usually throw pretty straight at that spare to avoid taking that 5 straight back. He did make it. So now that forces San Jose State to make the 2-10 here in the 10th. Otherwise, Lindenwood will have a chance to win the game on the fill ball. At some point, somebody's going to have to throw a ball in that men's match. Looks like San Jose State does not want to shoot that split. Well, boys, they're going to have to shoot it eventually. Fill ball here for Lindenwood, a strike. Would shoot 177. That would force San Jose State to make it. Gets the strike. So now San Jose State, they waited around and now they know they have to make it. Open frame in the 10th. And Lindenwood takes it 177 to 175.
That's it, Brittany.
Do me a favor and spread the word about the live streaming on your Facebook and Twitter. Copy the link, post it, or just tell people to go to bowl.com to find the live streaming. Would appreciate it if you could help us out with that. Get some more people watching the live streaming this morning. Sacred Heart and Robert Morris. Of course, I need to update my scoreboard. A little early in the morning here, folks. I'm losing it. They're rolling pretty quick. I got so wrapped up in the end of that last game that I never updated the scoreboard up top. 8-pin lead for Robert Morris. Both teams shooting difficult spares, but Sacred Heart makes the washout. And Robert Morris facing its 7-10 split here in the fourth. So if you assume an open here, then Sacred Heart moves into the lead. Those of you who are wondering about Weber not showing up on the live scoring, they're now there. They must have had a problem when they started the match that caused it to not show up, and it is now on there. And if you see that there are pairs that are not showing up on the live scoring, it's because those pairs are not in use. We are not using all of the pairs. There are a couple of buffer pairs right now. And as we lose teams, we'll use less pairs. There's a double for Robert Morris as they take the lead by 7. Update you on other matches. Pikeville leads Grandview 1-0 on the women's side. Maryland Eastern Shore up 1-0 on Adrian. Midland beat Wichita State in the first game on the women's side. Lindenwood up on Notre Dame 1-0. McKendree 1, Stephen F. Austin 0. On the men's side, Robert Morris beat Urbana in the first game. Our featured match, of course. Lindenwood won against San Jose State. Wichita State beat Weber 183-172. Clark beat Fresno by 3 pins. Calumet beats Purdue in the first game. Midland and RIT tie at 162. And the one, obviously I did mention Pikeville beating Grandview in the first game. I thought I missed that one, but I think I got that one. So there you go. That's your update on the matches that are going on right now. Strikes are starting to come on our women's match here. Sacred Heart with a split 2-4-10. Our men's match, Lindenwood got off to a quick start with 3 strikes in a row before having an open in the fourth. So Lindenwood leads by 4 pins. Another strike for Robert Morris as they are on pace here to go up 2-0 in this match. Best Sacred Heart can shoot is 204, and Robert Morris is going at a 226 pace. Robert Morris leading by 31 pins. If both teams spare heading into the 10th. Lindenwood up by 15 on San Jose State in our men's match. Audience keeps growing this morning. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hope that you will watch throughout the day. We will be determining our TV finalists today. That'll happen this afternoon. Well, Robert Morris has mathematically locked up game one, even without throwing a ball in the 10th frame. So they will lead 2-0. Pikeville and Grandview off to the left of our women's featured pair just tied at 154. Like Caitlin Simpson from Pikeville struck on the fill ball to get the tie. Just to give you an idea of the schedule for today, we're in round 3 right now. Round 4 scheduled to start for score at 10 a.m. Pacific time. There's a 2-hour break this afternoon from 11:30 to 1:30. At 1:45, first ball of round 5. 3:30, first ball of round 6. And if necessary, there will be a round 7 at 5:15. All those times are Pacific. San Jose State really taking their time here, now behind by a few frames. There's a strike. Doesn't help them in terms of pace of play that Lindenwood's thrown more strikes than they have this game. Lindenwood 6 strikes. San Jose State just got their first. But when you look at it in terms of balls thrown down the lane, Lindenwood has thrown 12 balls down the lane. I'm sorry, and San Jose State has thrown 11. So really, Lindenwood is so far ahead of them in pace because they have struck more. But it also seems like San Jose State likes to take their time a little bit. These are important matches. Maryland Eastern Shore women lead 2-0 on Adrian. Lindenwood up 2-0 on Notre Dame. McKendree and Stephen F. Austin tied at 1. Some men's matches for you. Well, no updates yet. Robert Morris looks like they lost game 2 to Urbana, so they're tied 1-1. There's still updating the men's results. Wichita leads Weber by 18 with 2 frames to go. Midland beat RIT, so they're up 1.5 to a half. Calumet is up 2-0 on Purdue. And looks like Clark leads Fresno 2-0. Front 3 for Robert Morris this game, as they are in the driver's seat already here in game 3. Lindenwood can strike on the hill for 210. San Jose State would need to strike out to shoot 214. They have still have 3 frames to go. I think Midland and Wichita State tied in game 2 on the women's side, so that would be a 1.5 to a half lead for Midland. Well, that single pin lead by San Jose State means that they are shut out now. Lindenwood just needs 5 pins on the fill to shut him out. Robert Morris up by more than 30 pins after 4 frames. Watching live coverage of the X-Bowling Intercollegiate Team Championships here on Bowl TV. Our thanks to X-Bowling for their sponsorship of this event as well as the singles. Without them, a lot of what we do at these events would not be possible. So thank you very much to X-Bowling, and please, all you have to do to make them feel good about their sponsorship is download their X-Bowling app. So go to the App Store or the Google Play Store and search for X-Bowling, download the app, check it out. That's all they ask. Great company, great folks. Pleasure to work with them. They really are first-class operation, and we hope that you will give their X-Bowling app a chance. 208 for Lindenwood. San Jose State can only get to 203. Wichita State beat Weber in game 2, so they're up 2-0 on the men's side. That game just ended. Morris with an open in the 6th. So that makes things a bit closer here. 15-pin lead for Robert Morris. shot. Tell off her hand that was going to strike. .208.172 is your final score. Game number 2. So Lindenwood up 2-0 on San Jose State here as they flip lanes for game 3. So both our matches are 2-0. No change in the lead here for Robert Morris, still up 15 if both teams make their spares here in the 8th. First shot of game 3 on our men's match. Open frame for Sacred Heart, so they are in a lot of trouble here. Pikeville is going to go up 2.5 to 1/2 on Grandview. Match to the left of our featured pair. And the match to the right of our featured pair. Robert Morris and Urbana tied 1-1, and Robert Morris is up by 5 in game 3. Looks like Clark is going to go up 3-0 on Fresno. On the men's side. They've still got 4 frames to go in that game, but Clark is ahead by more than 30 pins, maybe even 40 pins. Maryland Eastern Shore is up 3-0 on Adrian on the women's side. They just finished game 3. McKendree is going to take a 2-1 lead on Stephen F. Austin. Midland is going to beat Wichita State again, so they're going to be at 2.5 to 1/2 on the women's side. Featured match here, Robert Morris leading by 19 going into the 10th after that 9 foul in the 8th. So both teams have opens in the 8th frame, but come back with strikes in the 9th. Still a 19-pin lead for Robert Morris. And if Sacred Heart doesn't strike here, they can't win the game. Still have a chance. They can shoot 192, and that would force Robert Morris to throw the first one in the 10th. So RMU needs the first one in the 10th here to get the shutout. All right, so Sacred Heart has a hope here. Sacred Heart can strike out last 2 shots in the 10th to shut out Robert Morris by a pin. This could be the biggest moment of the match right here. It's a big difference between being down 2-1 and being down 3-0. And let's see what Nicole Trudell does here for Sacred Heart. Comes up light, leaves the 5-8. That does force Robert Morris to make the 10-pin, though. He got just enough in count to force RMU to make the spare. No problem. So Robert Morris going to go up 3-0. Urbana looks like they're going to beat Robert Morris. In game 3, Robert Morris was ahead and then went open in the 9th and 10th. 9 out, 6-1. To shoot 176, and Urbana can strike on the fill for 182. 189 to 180. Robert Morris goes up 3-0. If Robert Morris wins this game, they will win the match. 4-0. Sacred Heart needs to win to stay alive. This is a winner's bracket match, so the loser is not eliminated. But the winner of this match jumps all the way past the next 2 rounds and into round 6 and would be 1 win away from making the TV show. Same for our men's match. It's a winner's bracket match. So you win this match, you get 2 rounds off. You lose it, and then to make the show, you've got to win 4 matches in a row. I take that back. You'd have to win 3 matches in a row. The losers in our 2 featured matches have the next round off. All right, let's run through some updates for you. Pikeville up 2.5 to 1/2 on Grandview. Maryland Eastern Shore up 3-0 on Adrian. Midland leads Wichita State 2.5 to 1/2. Lindenwood up 2-0 on Notre Dame. McKendree up 2-1 on Stephen F. Austin. And actually, Lindenwood just took game 3 against Notre Dame, so up 3-0. Urbana leads Robert Morris men 2-1. Lindenwood up 2-0 on San Jose State. That's our featured match. Wichita State leading Weber 2-0, and it looks like Wichita is going to take game 3 to go up 3-0. Clark up 3-0 on Fresno State. Calumet leading Purdue 3-0. And Midland is up 2.5 to 1/2 on RIT. San Jose State in the lead right now against Lindenwood. Lindenwood with a big double there, though, as they narrow the gap to 3. Sacred Heart with that quick double, out to a 10-pin lead this game. Big shot here for Lindenwood. They can take the lead with a strike. I take that back. They can pull to within 3 with a strike. I was reading the score wrong. I thought it was 81 in the 4th. It's 61. They actually trail by 16 with that 7 count. Lindenwood. Things are starting to go in the direction of San Jose State this game, and San Jose State trying to pull within 2-1. This match is progressing pretty slowly, our men's match. Most of the other matches are already in game 4. Double there for Sacred Heart. And a split for Robert Morris. Open frame. So Sacred Heart is up big right now. Up 37. And a must-win game for Sacred Heart. Another open for Lindenwood. Another strike for Sacred Heart. Now up 47. Double for Robert Morris, trying to mount a comeback here. They're going to need a lot more strikes. Well, Sacred Heart with a missed spare in the 8th. So hope's still alive for the sweep by Robert Morris. 25-pin lead for San Jose State with 2 frames to go. Appreciate everybody tuning in this morning. We've got one more round after this in our morning session. We'll have about a 2-hour break before they get started with the afternoon session. Another strike for Robert Morris, 3 in a row. Pikeville goes up 3.5 to a half on Grandview off to the left of our featured pair. Adrian beat Maryland Eastern Shore in game 4 to avoid being swept. So it's 3-1 Eastern Shore. Looks like McKendree's going to go up 3-1 on Stephen F. Austin. Midland is going to be up 3.5 to a half on Wichita State on the women's side. String comes to an end for Robert Morris. With a spare here, they're still down 16. Oh, another open for Sacred Heart, back to back. Missed makeable spares. Robert Morris is still in this thing. Got to make the 3-6-10 here. Covers it up. It's a 5-pin match. 5 pins. separating with a frame and a half to go. 2:01 max score for Sacred Heart, 2:06 max score for Robert Morris. Big shot here, comes up light, 245. Now 191 max. Robert Morris is going to need a double at some point to get there, though. Important spare here for Sacred Heart. She misses it in the 10th. They go open, 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 missing 3 makeable spares at the end of this game, and now Robert Morris just needs a spare here and a spare with good count in the 10th. Sacred Heart really collapsing at the end of that game. Need a mark, and that is the best mark you can get right there. Just needs 6 pins on 2 shots, and Robert Morris will sweep Sacred Heart. That's enough. Robert Morris wins in a sweep against Sacred Heart. Marshall Kent is up on the approach for Robert Morris. Needs a strike to beat Urbana this game, and he gets it. And they are going to be tied 2-2 in that match. Lindenwood up 2-1 on San Jose State as we are underway with Game 4. San Jose State. They can somehow make the split. We're tied after 3 frames. Give you some updates here in just a second on other matches. Looks like Wichita State has a chance to beat Weber 4-0. Wichita still has 2 frames to go, but Weber only shot 169. Wichita State just needs a couple of marks. Now Pikeville leads Grandview 3.5 to 0.5. And Grandview is up by 9 with 1.5 frames to go. Grandview looking to avoid being beaten here. Lindenwood women have won their match. That just went final. Lindenwood defeats Notre Dame. I believe that was 4-0. Maryland Eastern Shore and Adrian is looking like Adrian is going to win and pull to within 3-2. Midland and Wichita State. Midland wins the match with a win or a tie, and Wichita State leads by 3 with 4 frames to go. Wichita State is going to need a strike on the fill to defeat Weber. I believe that is an elimination match, so if Wichita State strikes on their fill ball, Weber will be eliminated in the men's division. Trying to keep an eye on it here. It's not on camera, but I see Wichita State with their anchor bowler up on the approach right now. And he strikes on the fill, and Wichita State sweeps Weber International, winning the last game 170 to 169. So that is a 4-0 sweep. Grandview beat Pikeville 186-174 to stay alive in that match. It's 3.5 to 1.5. Pikeville in the lead. Midland has taken a 6-pin lead on the Wichita State women. Midland wins that game or ties. They win the match. Our featured match, San Jose State, Lindenwood. Pretty close game here. San Jose State with a spare leads by 6 pins, Lindenwood a chance for a double here, leaves a 4-pin. Stephen F. Austin just struck out in the 10th to shut out McKendree by 3. So that will go another game. Adrian beat Maryland Eastern Shore 187 to 167. Maryland Eastern Shore leads 3-2. You can see the Greek church off to the right of our featured pair here. That is Robert Morris, Illinois. They are trailing Urbana this game. That match, I believe, tied 2-2. Five-pin lead for Lindenwood. Midland women leading by 5 going into the 10th against Wichita State. Ninth frame for Lindenwood. San Jose State yet to bowl the 8th. But if San Jose State were to strike in the 8th frame, they will take the lead by 5. Urbana leads Robert Morris by more than 30 pins. That just got cut to 21 going into the 10th. Wichita State women and Midland women down there, they are on lead 7 and 8 if you're following the live scoring. Midland is shooting a spare in the 10th, which it looks like they've made. So with a strike on the field, Midland will be at 178. Wichita State needs a second strike in the 10th to beat them and stay alive in that match. Tanya Ramanpur, Player of the Year, up for Wichita State. Needs a strike, trying to avoid elimination. And she got it. And the Wichita State Shockers just went nuts down there. So they are still in this thing. Clark leads Fresno on the men's side 3-1. Wichita State beat Weber 4-0. Calumet leads Purdue 3-1. Midland up 3.5 to 1/2 on RIT, but looking like Midland is going to win the match this game. On the women's side, Pikeville up 3.5 to 1.5 on Grandview. Robert Morris swept Sacred Heart 4-0. Maryland Eastern Shore up 3-2 on Adrian. Midland still leads Wichita State 3.5 to 1.5 in that match. Lindenwood sweeps Notre Dame 4-0. McKendree leads Stephen F. Austin 3-2. San Jose State 3-6-10 in the 9th. They trailed by 18 because Lindenwood put a double on the board. So Lindenwood has locked up this game and will go up 3-1. Urbana is going to win Game 5 against Robert Morris. And they will go up 3-2 in that match. Another round coming up right after this one ends. Hope you will stick around. Looks like Purdue v. Calumet stay alive in that match. It's going to be 3-2 Calumet. Clark is going to eliminate Fresno State, it appears. Not completely determined yet, still have the 10th frame bowl down there, but Clark leading by 24 going into the 10th. Starting our next game in this match shortly with Lindenwood up 3-1. .191 to 177. Lindenwood wins that game. Pikeville up 27 on Grandview as they're looking to finish off that match. Adrian has strung 5 strikes together in a row against Maryland Eastern Shore. So they're trying to even it at 3-3. Maryland Eastern Shore still holding a 4-pin lead though that game. By the way, Clark opened in the 10th, and Fresno State got a double to come back from behind and win the game by 7. So Fresno State's still alive. 3-2 Clark. Looked like Clark had that one locked up, but I spoke too soon. Lindenwood wins this game, they will win the match 4-1. And to be in great position to make the TV finals. Lindenwood wins this game, they need one more win, and they're on the show. They need to win one of their next 2 matches. Well, Pikeville defeats Grandview. Maryland Eastern Shore is going to beat Adrian. Adrian made a run at it there, but had a couple opens to close the game. So Maryland Eastern Shore will knock off Adrian. Midland up 20 on Wichita State in the women's match after 4 frames. San Jose State up by 9 pins this game early on. Stephen F. Austin leads McKendree by 12 going into the 10th. Robert Morris up 13 on Urbana halfway through this game. It's a must-win game for Robert Morris. They're down 3-2. Stephen F. Austin strike on the fill to shut out McKendree this game. I believe they're going to be headed to a Game 7 tied 3-3. San Jose State still up by 7 here with the spare. Calumet up big this game on Purdue. Up by more than 50 pins. So it looks like Calumet is going to defeat Purdue here in 6 games. Clark out to a pretty big lead on Fresno State. But they've still got about 5 frames to go in that match. Wichita State and Midland women. It is an 8-pin lead for Midland with 3 frames to go. If Midland wins that game, they win the match. Wichita State just opened, and Midland just doubled. So the lead just ballooned to 32 for Midland. Lindenwood with the open. last frame. So San Jose State now ahead by 18 this game. Must-win game for San Jose State. See Urbana off to the right. That's 3 strikes in a row for them. And they just took the lead. It's now an 8-pin lead for Urbana as they head to the final stages of this game. If Urbana beats Robert Morris this game, they win the match. Clark up by 33 on Fresno with 4 frames to go. So Clark on the verge of advancing. Midland just made a spare to shut out Wichita State. So Midland defeats Wichita State and the Shockers are eliminated. Interesting finish to the right of our featured pair here. Urbana and Robert Morris. Urbana can strike for 194 here. You see him right there with the strike. Robert Morris can strike out for 194. So Marshall Kent needs 3 in the 10th to keep Robert Morris alive in the match. And you'll be able to see the ball go down the lane on lane 26 in just a minute. Marshall's stepping up on the approach right now. Looks like San Jose State's going to win this game, and we're going to have a game 6. Marshall on the approach for Robert Morris. Lane 26, you'll see the ball go down the lane in a second. There it goes. There it is right there. It's the first one in the 10th. He needs all 3 to tie. Open frame for San Jose State, so it's still not decided yet. 17-pin lead for San Jose State. Clark will defeat Fresno State. Calumet defeats Purdue. Only women's match still going on is Stephen F. Austin and McKendree. It's in game 7. Stephen F. Austin up by 12. Marshall Kent up on the approach now. You'll see the ball go down the lane on lane 26 on the far right side of your screen. He's letting it go right now. Needs a strike. Gets a second one. He's going to need one more for the tie to keep RMU alive in the winner's bracket. Urbana leads that match 3-2. Split for San Jose State. Lindenwood still has a chance here to steal this game. Big strike for Lindenwood in the 9th. If San Jose gets 2 here, they will only lead by 6. Marshall Kent taking his time for Robert Morris off to the right. Marshall is now up on the approach. You'll see the ball go down the lane on lane 26. He needs a strike for the tie. Otherwise, Urbana wins the match. And let's see what happens here. He just let it go. And he gets 8. And Urbana wins the match. 194-192. Urbana wins 4-2. And sends Robert Morris into the loser's bracket. Lindenwood unable to put a double on the board there. They really needed one. San Jose State delivers a strike in the 9th, so San Jose State will just need a mark in the 10th to pull to within 3-2. Stephen F. Austin women up by 6 on McKendree in Game 7, as they are in the 7th and 8th frames. Well, McKendree just opened, so it's now a 17-pin lead for Stephen F. Austin in the 8th frame. Winners this round on the women's side: Midland, Lindenwood, Maryland Eastern Shore, Pikeville, and Robert Morris. Winners on the men's side: Clark, Calumet, Midland, Wichita State, and Urbana. This is the only men's match still going on. Well, a baby split here for San Jose State. Let's play it out here. Lindenwood makes the spare, strikes on the fill, 174. San Jose State gets 1 here on the baby split. That would be 168. Oh, and he makes it the hard way. Gets the spare, and we will have another game. Eight on the fill is enough. Actually, it didn't matter because Lindenwood missed the spare. 178-160. This match by far the slowest match this round. They are only starting Game 6. By comparison, McKendree and Stephen F. Austin are finishing Game 7 on the women's side. And we could have 2 full games to go here. This is going to put us behind schedule for the start of the next round. But an interesting match nonetheless. Lindenwood up 3-2. San Jose State, another must-win game. Interesting finish in that women's match down there. McKendree's thrown 3 strikes in a row to get back in it. They can max at 210. Stephen F. Austin can max at 217. Both teams have struck first shot in the 10th. Nicole Parkhurst is up on the approach for Stephen F. Austin, a strike, and she will be able to shut out McKendree. and she comes up light. She left the 2-pin. So McKendree needs a strike and 7 pins to win by 1. So we'll let you know what happens with that. McKendree left a ringing 10-pin. So Stephen F. Austin will survive and advance in that elimination match. Every match is done except for the one that's on the featured pair. It's pretty convenient. Lindenwood had an open in the first frame, so San Jose State's up by 11 early on here. .206 to 198. Stephen F. Austin won Game 7 against McKendree. Stephen F. Austin won 3 games in a row at the end of that match to win it. Third frame, San Jose State, 4-pin. And they lead by 10. Well, the good news is we won't get too far behind schedule for the day because there's a 2-hour lunch break today, so we're just kind of eating into that right now with this because the 4th round of match play is scheduled to start with practice at 9:45, which is about right now. So obviously that's not going to happen. But like I said, there's a 2-hour lunch break built in to the schedule, so that will help to catch things up. During that break, they'll put up some pipe and drape so they can start getting set up for the TV show because it takes a while to build the set. And we start taping tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So they need time to be able to set up here. Four frames in, no doubles, one open by Lindenwood. And That's the difference in the game. 10-pin lead for San Jose State. Big strike for a double. Lindenwood takes a 3-pin lead.
Let's go, LU! Come on, boys!
An open frame by San Jose State. Lindenwood now quickly in the driver's seat. Looking for another one here, leaves the 6-pin. Lindenwood up by 13. It's a must-win game for San Jose State, or Lindenwood wins the match. Again, this is the only match still going on from this round. So we've got 4 frames to go, 13-pin lead for Lindenwood. Both teams working on a spare, and there is a 4-count split on a spare for San Jose State. They lose a lot of count right there. Strike for the Lions. They are now up by 19. And it'll be even more if San Jose State does not convert this 4-count split here. So, well, let's see here. Open frame for San Jose State, 106 in the 7th. 31-pin lead for Lindenwood now. And if Lindenwood strikes on this shot, they'll go up by 41 going into the final couple of frames. Moves the head pin to the right, leaves 1, 2, 4. Count doesn't really matter. Making the spare is more important than anything here to maintain the lead. San Jose State desperately needing a strike here in the 8th. They get a strike. Well, San Jose State can pull to within 21 with a strike here. The odds of them winning this game are slim, but they become almost 0 without a strike here. And a wrap 10 on a good shot. And it looks like Lindenwood is going to take this game. And Lindenwood would be continuing on in the winners bracket and be one win out of their next 2 matches from making it on to the TV show. Lindenwood doesn't need to do a whole lot here. Split, obviously not ideal, but the best that San Jose State can shoot is 176. So Lindenwood just needs 1 mark in the last 2 frames. Now it doesn't matter. Next round will start about 5 minutes after this match ends. Kind of an anticlimactic finish here to this match. It's pretty close. Halfway through the game. Some mistakes by San Jose State really cost them. So Lindenwood will move on, and they will have the next couple of rounds off. So don't go anywhere. Our next round going to get started here for score probably in about 20 minutes. They're going to have about a 5-minute break at the end of this game. That's what they usually do. And then 15 minutes of practice before they get started with round 4. Final shot. Lindenwood wins the match 4-2, 189 to 154. And that ends round 3. Round 4.
Next round is actually 5 minutes.
5 minutes until we start practice for round 4. I'm going to step away here for just a minute, and we'll be back live on Bowl TV at the start of round 4 in just a couple of minutes. Stand by.
haven't seen.
Boston indicated to me that she was not going to be here until last minute. So I don't know when. So yeah. Yeah, no problem. Sure, be glad to have you. Let me know. Yeah. If you want to sit in for this next round, you can. But they're not going to start for another 15 minutes. So yeah, okay. Just a word of warning. Don't go up on this platform. I put a sign over there that says "Do not enter." Yeah, don't take it because that's why I'm not sitting up there. So it's a little shaky. So yeah, because it shakes the cameras and the scoreboards get all adjusted. Yeah, exactly. That'll earn you a first-class ticket back to Miami.
minute to lane change, 1 minute to lane change. Switch lanes, please. Switch lanes. lanes are correct. Practice is over. Practice is now over. Lane choices are due, please. If there's a change in your lane choice, please go to our counter immediately. The USBC Collegiate Program would like to thank the following groups for their support of the Intercollegiate Team Championships. Schedule, the official lane maintenance drive provider of the competition. The Youth Education Services, the YES Funds and initiative that is dedicated to the development of youth bowling. Our future is now in the partnerships already created and have united the bowling industry into a single cause, which is the betterment of youth bowling. And X Bowling, connecting bowlers around the world, allowing you to compete in challenges with prizes and track your scores and stats, plus much more. Be sure and check out the X Bowling display. Download the X Bowling app today to see live scores and the leaderboard anytime, anywhere. Bowling, the power of X. Coaches, don't forget about the Chris Dare Sportsmanship Award and the All-Tournament Team Forms. You can turn them into me at the counter. And last, don't forget about a change in the starting time for the morning sessions tomorrow. 9 a.m. will be our training time. Doors will open at 7:30. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a round of applause for the best collegiate athletes in the country? We begin round 4 of our WSBC match play. Brunswick, please.
All right, ready to get started with round 4 here at the ITCs. Maryland Eastern Shore versus Midland and Calumet versus Midland are featured matches for this round. There are 2 other matches going on at this time. Lindenwood versus Stephen F. Austin on the women's side and Wichita State versus Clark on the men's side. The other teams that are still alive in the tournament have this round off. So only 4 matches going on right now. It's still best of 7, so first team to win 4 points wins the match. I guess best of 7 is kind of a misnomer because it could go 8 games if they tie at 3.5, 3.5. But we get underway now with round number 4 here in match play at the X Bowling Intercollegiate Team Championships. We are live at the Reno Sparks Convention Center in Reno, Nevada. I'm Lucas Wiseman. Thanks for joining us today. After this round, there's about a 2-hour break, maybe a little less than that. The next round is scheduled to start at 1:30 with practice. Pacific time, of course, here in Reno. Maryland Eastern Shore is our defending ITC champions. They're out to a start with a double. Actually, they switched lanes on me there. The higher seed gets to pick what lane they want to start on. So I need to update here. Actually, both teams decided to flip the starting lane. Now our scoreboards are accurate there. And again, Lindenwood and Stephen F. Austin are bowling on the women's side, Wichita State and Clark on the men's side as well, and we will keep a close eye on those matches. It's amazing how it goes from having so many matches at once to narrowing down so quickly, especially with teams not having to bowl in this round. It's very intimate now, as we've only got the 4 pairs bowling. They are all right next to each other, though. Three-pin lead for Maryland Eastern Shore. Midland up by 10 in the men's match. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Live coverage of the X-Bowling Intercollegiate Team Championships. 4th round of match play. Would appreciate it if you would post the link to the streaming on your Facebook or Twitter and spread the word. Tell your friends, tell your family. Get everybody tuned in to watch some, what I hope will be very compelling matches here this round. These are elimination matches. All of the matches this round are knockout matches, so we will lose 2 men's teams, 2 women's teams this round. As the field quickly narrows here at the ITCs. Eastern Shore up by 3 as we are in the 5th frame, game number 1. Midland women, 3 strikes in a row. They are getting it going here in game 1 against UMES. Midland now up 21 in this game, in the women's match. Midland men are up by 8. I guess it's a good round if you're a Midland fan. Both Midland teams on Bowl TV. trying to keep you updated as frequently as possible on the other two matches that we don't see, but you can follow the live scoring at bowl.com/ITC. Go to bowl.com/ITC and click on the results page, and that has the link to the live scoring. Stephen F. Austin is up big on Lindenwood in the other women's match. We've got Midland women leading by 27 on Maryland Eastern Shore. Calumet is mounting a comeback here against Midland men, and they've come all the way back to take a 20-pin lead if they make the spare. And in the other men's match, Wichita State leads by 20 on Clark. All right, joined by special guest Dave Lamont, our commentator for the CBS Sports Network Finals. Hi, Dave.
Hey, good to see you again, man. It's our first of our 2 semi-annual visits.
That's right. Yeah, you'll be back in Reno, I think, in a couple of months, right?
Week of July 4th, yeah. It'll be great. Back at the stadium for that one. But this environment here, I'm sure you've talked about it quite a bit, but it's so reminiscent of El Paso, which was my first year with the Expo, the ITC, and I love the convention center look and the feel about it, and the best thing about it is it's so good for the spectators.
Right now!
Yes, it is. It's very exciting, and it's there's a lot of space here at the Reno Sparks Convention Center. And put some extra seating in, actually. We had to move in some extra bleachers to accommodate all of the spectators.
Well, it was packed house yesterday. I got here for the last hour, and I was complete. That's the first thing that struck me. Besides, of course, going from the quiet to the noise, because this is certainly one of the noisiest events when everybody's in here that you'll ever see. But the amount of people that came here to watch yesterday and today, this morning, was fantastic.
Well, we're in our 4th round of match play, and Midland leading Maryland Eastern Shore in our featured match by 15 pins. And Calumet just went open to allow Midland in our men's match to take the lead by 11. Here in the 10th frame of game number 1.
And an event, Lucas, that's becoming as known for who's not going to be in the finals as who will be, at least at the moment, with the loss of Wichita State just a little while ago on the women's side, and Weber being completely out of the tournament now, both men's and women. That's very unusual.
Yeah, and it's been a lot of the lane conditions are pretty tough, and that doesn't affect spare shooting, obviously, but Midland just missed an easy spare in the 10th, and now Calumet has a chance to spare and strike to win by 1 in game 1. But the lane conditions have been pretty tough this week. The scores have been pretty low.
Well, I talked to Randy Stoughton about that from Weber, and Katie Thornton, who's now played in this event and is now coaching, and they liked it.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't bitter about, not being in the event. They said, look, it was hard for everybody. It was consistent, which I think everybody as a player can respect and appreciate. No surprises. And, it's strikes are hard to come by. Makes that Wichita 300 even more impressive.
Yeah, I didn't think that we would see a 300 this week, and Wichita State men popped one in the end of qualifying.
Were you not in the building when that happened?
No, actually, it was right on our live stream pair. So, yeah, it's pretty incredible, actually. Calumet needs a strike on their fill ball here to win game 1 by a pin. So let's see what happens here. Midland took game 1 against Maryland Eastern Shore.
Midland, the team that knocked out Wichita State, and they may knock out the defending champs.
So here's the shot by Calumet. Need a strike to win by 1. Oh, and he gets 8. And they lose by a pin. Tough.
Well, Wichita State, you know, one of the things that always interests me too, Lucas, is when these teams that are fighting from the loser leave town matches from the very beginning, as soon as they wake up, they realize, hey, if we don't do things right today, we're out. And how draining that can be as the day goes on. And can you maintain the mental part of your game, and in addition to all the adjustments you have to make throughout the day, and succeed?
Yeah, these knockout matches are pretty tough.
They're
especially
brutal.
if you lose early and you've got to bowl pretty much every round to make it to the TV show. It's real tough. Wichita State 200, Clark 177. And it looks like Stephen F. Austin won game 1, 227 to 179. So, first game winners, Stephen F. Austin. Midland won both the men's and the women's match, and Wichita State won their first game. Makes it much easier. You come at the time, Dave, when it's much easier to keep track of things because the first 3 rounds are crazy. You got so many matches happening at once, and now
Not a coincidence.
it's very easy with only 4 matches.
Well, when I walked in yesterday, it was full on everything.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, everybody out there.
Yeah, first 2 rounds last night, it was everything.
It was pretty zany.
Going.
And it is so much quieter now than it was.
It's a little more focused.
Yeah, and of course you've got some teams that are just sort of chilling back in their rooms or grabbing a bite to eat and just enjoying the fact that they're unbeaten. And while the rest of these teams are clawing to stay alive.
So we're in game 2, both these matches. Midland leading both of them 1-0. And a pretty exciting change for the TV show this year, Dave, is that the team finals are going to be best of 5 instead of best of 3. So I think that all of the teams probably will appreciate that more because best of 3 just seemed to go by so fast, and best of 5 is probably going to be a little bit more competitive, I think.
And it could be cruel. One break, one bad break, one unfortunate pinfall or could doom you. And here you get a chance to make up for that. And so that means our team shows will be 90 minutes in May, not the 60 minutes that we did last year, which I think is, the bowling fans will enjoy that, I hope.
Yeah, anytime you get more bowling on TV, it's a good thing. So, yeah, it's a positive development for sure.
Based on everything I've read on social media for the past year about bowling on television, whether it's our shows or the PBA or whatever, bowling fans just simply want more bowling, which sounds almost too simple to say, but it's, there's a definite lust for it out there, and we're happy to bring it to you in May. And just while we're early in these games, our schedule for for CBS Sports Network, May 6th will be the women's singles, which both these singles fields are incredible.
Yeah, they're jam-packed with talent for sure.
May 13th will be the men's singles, and the women's team will be May 20th, and May 27th will be the men's team. All the shows will be at 8 o'clock Eastern.
So a better time slot, too, than last year. Last year was 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock on a Friday night or something.
Yeah, and the East Coast, that's never good.
Yeah.
And so you get prime time on the East Coast, and you'll have the singles will still be a 60-minute show, but the team will be 90 minutes, and there'll be multiple repeats. So if it's not convenient for you, just DVR it.
That is one good thing about being on CBS Sports Network is they usually give us quite a few re-airs, which is nice in case you miss it.
Yes.
Midland off to a quick start in the men's match with the front 4. And maybe spurred a little bit by the finish to that first game where they won by a pin. Got some momentum on their side.
And one other significant change is this year I'll be joined by CDB. Carolyn Doran Ballard will be my partner for this event. Chris couldn't make it. And so he's not even in the Hall of Fame anyway. She is.
That's right.
I don't know who he thinks he is. And
Carolyn's been on TV a lot lately.
Yep.
She did the NCAA championship. She did the SWAC championship. She's been doing quite a few college tournaments.
Warmed her up for the big one.
That's right.
And I'm excited about that, of course. Usually when we see Carolyn, she's bowling on television.
That's right.
But she's been with us a few times for Queen shows and all that. So she'll be with me tomorrow when we tape.
Carolyn in the broadcast booth is much less scary than Carolyn on the lanes.
Yes.
She's so intense when she bowls.
Which makes for great television.
Yes, it does.
Sure, I love it when she's bowling.
But she really has just like Chris does, she has a real passion for college bowling. She bowled in college, you know, she loves it. She's always tweeting about how much she loves college bowling, so I think she'll really enjoy getting to work with you this year.
That's the other thing. This is the time of the year when all the great college bowlers of the past start bringing out. And today being Throwback Thursday on social media, Stephanie Johnson, formerly Stephanie Nation, was sending out some photos. April Ellis, now April Ellis Murphy, put out a picture of her in her college days. There's a lot of the folks who get an opportunity to bring back, and they all say the same thing. The experience was as good as anything that's ever happened to them.
Someone asking in the chat if that's Dave Lamont talking, and yes, Brandy, that is the golden pipes of Dave Lamont.
I hope, Brandy, that's a good thing that I'm talking.
Well, they're tired of hearing me, I think, so they're happy to hear anybody else.
You have a rabid following. You ask questions about where you should eat lunch, and you get 50 responses.
That is true.
It is true.
That one worked out pretty well.
So is it Venice, or what's the other option?
No. Yeah, working on vacation for this summer. It's going to be Switzerland and Austria and Slovakia. That's what we decided
speaking on
on.
behalf of the people in the office of the USBC, they wish you a great trip.
Yes, I'm sure they do. Well, Midland is out to a huge lead this game against Calumet. Calumet just can't get anything going, and Midland's actually doubled up on Calumet halfway through this game. So Midland is in good shape in the men's match, but things can change pretty quickly, so keep that in mind. And Maryland Eastern Shore up by 15 now against Midland as we wind down game 2 in our women's match. Lindenwood up 4 on Stephen F. Austin with a couple of frames to go. And Clark leading Wichita State by 28 pins with half a game to go this game. It's good for Dave to get in here and start getting your brain thinking about how to do the scoring again, because it's been a while since you've been doing bowling.
I was sitting down in the Wichita State Midland match, going through it in my
in your head.
Nelson Burton Jr. voice.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, if they just get 2 strikes here, they lock them out. No, it takes a second to kind of get reconfigured. When other sports I announce, it's much simpler.
Yeah, it's much more complicated.
It's a 3, it's a 2.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or
it's a touchdown, or it's a field goal.
It's pretty simple. But here, yes, you have to kind of rethink the brain and look ahead more. That's the fun thing about this sport, is looking ahead.
Yeah.
And realizing, hey, this isn't over, even though it might look like it. And a good example here, I mean, Maryland Eastern Shore just picked up 3 straight, 7, 8, 9, to pull ahead of Midland.
Yep, they're at 26. I should have let you figure that out.
No, that's
since
okay.
You got some practice in.
But you did it now.
But
you know what? Tell you the truth, that's something I will let Carolyn and my statistician.
Yeah. But it's still always helpful to be able to kind of have an idea.
Absolutely.
And it is something that takes practice, that's for sure, to get that. Obviously I do it 600 hours a year.
Yeah.
So
well, UMass can get a 249 if they punch out.
Yep.
And Midland will not be able to match that.
Yeah, so. And that strike there by Maryland Eastern Shore locked up the win, for sure.
UMass on yet another coach.
Yep, they've got a good one.
Yep.
Caleb Andy has stepped in, former bowler at Pikeville. And
Christina Fromm going on with her life's desire to get into accounting, I think it is, to go back home and start a career in the business world.
Well, everybody thinks that coaching collegiate teams would be pretty simple. It's not. It's a tough job. It's demanding. There's a lot of travel, a lot of days on the road. It's pretty tough.
And I'm going to go out on a limb and say, unlike some football coaches, that bowling coaches are not the highest paid employees in their state.
They probably don't have the big staffs as well that football coaches have.
There are no quality control coaches in bowling.
Football coaches have $800,000 for assistants or whatever, or even more at some schools.
More, yeah. At Clemson, they have assistants in 7 figures now.
Yeah, so it's in bowling, you're lucky if you have one paid head coach to guide things.
You want an assistant with a good Starbucks card. Just to get back here as we wrap up these matches, Stephen F. Austin and the women can get up to 212. However, that may not be enough against Lindenwood, because Lindenwood doubling. 9 on the first ball in the 10th.
Yep, they're already in the 2 teens, so you just need count and a spare to lock up game 2.
But Lindenwood needs it because they lost the first game in what I like to call from my pro wrestling days as a fan, loser-leave town match, even though everybody sticks around.
The Midland men are going to go up 2-0 on Calumet with ease. No trouble there for the Midland guys this game.
Well, look who's checked in on your social, Tania Falbo.
Yeah.
Former Maryland Eastern Shore bowler. Must be her sister who's on the team now.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
I would.
Falbo's not exactly a common name, I don't think.
I don't think so. Well, greetings to Tania.
And Lindenwood struck on their second shot in the 10th, so they lock up the win. Clark just doubled to go up by 17 on Wichita State. We've got a couple of frames to go.
Midland with a 238, and Calumet never in the same zip code in that game.
Yeah, that one was not close. It's almost like Calumet just kind of had the win taken out of their sails after it got 8 on the fill that last game to lose by 1. Pretty high-scoring women's game that time, 238-210. Maryland Eastern Shore wins that game. Dave sitting here gets to see all the behind-the-scenes excitement. Me typing in the score on the scoreboard here to
and you're doing a great
frantically
job.
Keep up with their switching of lanes. Sometimes I forget, and then I get yelled at in the chat because I have to manually put those names are manually put in on the scoreboards because we've got the very fancy Daktronics displays here.
Oh, they're gorgeous.
But they don't work very well when you put a camera on them.
Yeah,
they get kind of blown out.
This
so.
picture here on bowl.com looks pretty good.
Yeah, I've got them cropped pretty tight on just the scoreboard, so it's not so bad. But you can watch in HD, by the way, if you click the little gear under the Bowl TV logo, and
nice.
You can flip it over to HD. It's been a little buggy lately, but it looks like it's working today.
It just says HD right there.
Yep.
Oh, full screen. You can't beat that. Now
full
that
screen
looks
HD
good.
looks nice, huh?
You know what? If I get a monitor like that tomorrow, I'll be happy. We're going to be setting up on the right far side of the house. Lanes 37, 38 will be the lanes for the competition.
Yeah, and they're starting that setup during the lunch break today, I believe.
As soon as we get the last ball rolled here, our crew will be out there, and that's a long job.
Yeah, they've got to get started on that pretty quick because we're starting bright and early in the morning, and actually starting earlier than scheduled. We're starting at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning instead of 9:45.
And, there's lots of camera positions to haggle over and build a broadcast booth. And
they've got to make sure they have a bowl of green M&Ms just for you.
It's in my rider.
It's in your contract.
You know the real story on that, though, and I heard David Lee Roth explain to Van Halen why they would put in their rider, concert rider, only brown M&Ms. They would bury that like page 9 of the rider, and they wanted to see if the promoter was paying attention.
They were reading it. Yeah.
So if they got to that point and there were brown M&Ms in the bowls, or the M&Ms with whatever it was, then they went, oh, good, they paid attention. At the time, it seemed like the ultimate rock star overindulgence, but it actually had a point.
Well, Wichita State came back to win that game against Clark. They were down, and Wichita State threw 3 strikes in a row near the end of the game to win 195-181. Clark missed a spare in the 10th, and Wichita State came back to take that game. So Wichita State is up 2-0.
You got Stephen F. Austin and Lindenwood in the women's competition even after 2 games. And Lindenwood opens in the front 3. And Maryland Eastern Shore, the defending champions, and Midland even up after 2 games. First of 4 points will keep going, and the loser is out of the tournament.
We still have some other teams that are alive in the tournament that have this round off. They'll be coming in. Some of them will be coming in the next round. Some of them the winners got a couple of rounds off.
A double bye.
Yeah, which is nice. just tuning in, you're watching live coverage of the X-Bowling Intercollegiate Team Championships here on Bowl TV. Our thanks to the folks at X-Bowling for supporting college bowling and providing the title sponsorship not only for this event but for the singles event as well. Please take a moment to go to the App Store on your iPhone or the Google Play Store on your Android device and download the X-Bowling app. Give them a chance, take a look, see what they're all about. It's completely free, and we hope that you will support our title sponsor of this event. Without them, a lot of things with this event might not be possible. So thank you very much to the folks at X-Bowling for stepping up. Midland up by 8 against Maryland Eastern Shore. This game, both teams with an open in the third.
The Maryland Eastern Shore has had 2 single pin misses in this game.
You know, Dave, a couple of days ago, a sports photographer from Channel 4 here in town came out to do a quick report on the singles event. And he said, who's going to be the commentators for TV? And I said, well, it's going to be, I started with the big name. I said, it's going to be Carolyn Dorn-Ballard,
Good idea.
Hall of Famer.
I agree.
And I said, and he goes, I'm not sure who that is. And I said, and then he said, who's doing the play-by-play? I said, Dave Lamont. He goes, oh, Dave Lamont, big fan. I know who he is. He does basketball and football. And
All
I met
right.
him in Miami or something.
Somebody out there likes me.
Very excited. He might even come back tomorrow to say hello. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but,
$25 to get him an autograph, so it'll be great.
Who are you, Pete Rose?
No, Pete's a lot more expensive than I am. Trust me.
Well, we're moving along here. It's game 3, both our matches. Midland has started with a double. You just get the feeling in that men's match that after that fill ball in the 10th frame of game 1 that it's been all uphill for Midland and all downhill for Calumet. And Midland now with the front 3 and up 21. It can be so hard to recover from disappointing losses like that. That was a heartbreaker for Calumet.
Well, the one thing I have noticed, and probably the single biggest difference between these collegians and the professionals, is that there is an expectation with the pros that they're going to make almost every spare, 90+% of them, or whatever it is, even though I don't have a statistic in front of me. In a college game, even sometimes the simplest shots don't get executed. Maybe the player gets a little nervous, doesn't, whatever it is, there are always surprises. So sometimes you get to a momentum turn in a match that you just cannot forecast. In these college matches particularly, that just don't have quite the consistency of the pros at the Queen. We'll see at the Queens or on the PBA Tour, and it makes for fascinating watching.
It does.
You're almost never out of it. Now Midland hits the front 4 here. They're comfortably up on Calumet, who's got a couple of spares, and will not get a strike in the 3rd frame. But
You never know. Yeah, the pros I think tend to be more consistent with the spares. They're more experienced,
Sure.
and it's also an individual sport most of the time for the pros. And here, there's so much more pressure. You've got your entire team behind you watching you shoot a spare that might be for the win or throw one shot for the win, and it's just so much pressure and so much on the line.
let's say you throw one shot, you strike. Okay, now you have to sit through the
exactly.
4 other bowlers in front of you. You can't really build on that. You build a lot of momentum on it. It is very difficult in the Baker format. I love the Baker format. I actually wish the PBA would do a Baker tournament someday. I mean, I know they've got the team league, and that's worked out well for them, but it'd be fun to see that, just to see how those guys do.
Maryland Eastern Shore up 4. Midland missed a single pin in our women's match. Lindenwood leading Stephen F. Austin by 18 with 3 frames to go.
You have an interesting.
Looks like I made a typo. See, they're always quick to fix
Well,
me.
yeah, that's
I put Clark instead
Clark.
of Calumet. That's
Oh,
what
you
I
have
get.
the power to do that?
Yeah, I'm the one who has to do that manually.
Holy
It's
cow.
all done manually by me. Each game I have to change it.
I was looking at that and looking up and going,
Wait a minute.
I think they're right across the way, but Lucas doesn't make mistakes.
Yeah, every once in a while. I'm glad that they let me know because I would not have noticed that for a whole game. But yeah, I've got to manually type those in each game.
Interesting. I did not know that. Okay. Well, no wonder you're going overseas for a vacation. You need a break.
You come on the live stream and my phone starts blowing up with text messages
It
from
may
all
not
kinds
be
of people.
good, though. I see Lawson's in there. That could be get him off the air. I mean, you don't know. Looking really quickly at what's happening here for the women, Stephen F. Austin just picks up a spare in the 8th, 133 through 7, but Lindenwood and 131 through 6 with the spare up in the 7th. That match is 1-1. And the defending women's champs, Maryland Eastern Shore, struggling. They've had 1-2 opens on single pins. They picked it up once they started with their anchor in lane 5. But still, it's just about even, it looks like, with Midland. Maybe 2 pins for Maryland Eastern Shore, actually, ahead in that 3rd game, and that is 1-1. Meantime, again, Calumet just having a tough start. Part of that is Midland hitting the front 4 in 5 of 6 strikes, but they're comfortably in front. 80-pin lead right now on Calumet through 4.5, meaning that Calumet is not bowled in the 5th. Turned into a baseball announcer for a second.
Well, this women's match is pretty close this game. Just a couple of pin lead for Maryland Eastern Shore.
Stephen F. Austin has an opportunity to steal this game away from Lindenwood. Lindenwood, the best they can shoot after an open in the 9th frame is a 207. And Stephen F. Austin gets another strike here. They'll need, 7 to win and take the game.
And by the way, anybody who's in town here that may be watching back in the hotel room or while they're eating lunch, just a reminder that there's been a schedule change for tomorrow. The taping of the first show will start at 9 a.m. and seating will begin. They need to be here by 8:30 a.m. if they want to get a seat.
And it fills up, man.
Yes, it will. We are all tied up at 141 in our women's match here going into the 10th. Midland kicks off the 10th frame with a strike. Both teams opened in the 9th.
All right, Stephen F. Austin does indeed win that game. So they now take a 2-1 lead on Lindenwood.
Maryland Eastern Shore with a single pin leave. So that means that the Midland women can lock up the win here this game with another strike.
Which they get. She had a ton of big shots in that win over Wichita State, which knocked the Lady Shockers out of this event earlier today, and she comes up with yet another one there.
So Midland women are going to go up 2-1, and the Midland men are going to be up 3-0. Wichita State leads Clark by 12 with 2 frames to go. Wichita State up 2-0 in that match.
First on that 9 a.m. taping schedule, by the way, will be the men's singles. And we'll have semifinals, 1 game, and then the 1-game finals. And brother, are we in good shape for our singles competitions? Chris Villa from Notre Dame, Ohio, will be in the field, is in the field, not will be, but is. He'll be in the first match. We've got from Weber, Gabriel Garcia Rinelli. Perry Crowell from Midland, the fourth. Perry Crowell, the fourth. And I'm going to French Canadian because it's such a classy name from Wichita State, Francois Lavoie.
Yeah, that's correct.
Will be in this as well. It'll be Lavoie and Garcia Rinelli and Crowell and Villa. And man. Did I just say Villa again?
You did.
It's Villa. Even though after
It's Vi.
Like I said, thanks. Tell them to spell
Okay,
it
it's
without
important
the
that
A.
you. Yeah, I agree. You get it. It's important you get it right for tomorrow.
Or
so.
the guitarist Stevie Vai, only if he swapped the initials around. But Chris Vai and Perry Crowell from Midland, Garcia Rinelli, who averaged 194, and Lavoie, who's got a ridiculous 213 average for the season. When we finish with that, we'll tape the women's championship, which obviously we don't know who's going to be in that yet. Take a break. We'll shoot the women's singles. That features a major champion.
Yes, it does.
I'd be curious how many times that's ever happened. Somebody has won a major championship in women's bowling and come back and bowled in the ITC singles championships. But Diana Zaviavola of Weber will be in there.
I can't imagine that it has happened.
I can't think of
ever.
it either.
Yeah.
And her opponent is an outstanding bowler, Elise Bolton from Nebraska.
Wichita State going to go up 3-0 on Clark. Clark had a little bit of a rough finish to that game. Wichita State wins 162-146. So Shockers up 3-0. The Midland men are going to be up 3-0 on Calumet. They've got one ball each to throw. We've got Midland women leading Maryland Eastern Shore 2-1. And we have Stephen F. Austin leading 2-1 on Lindenwood.
And then just to wrap things up, you have two Wichita State bowlers also, Heather Melvin, who averaged almost 206, and Tanya Rompapur, who's averaged almost 209. So, and you had quality bowlers like Danielle McEwen who couldn't get in. She made the final 16, but couldn't. Tatiana Munoz from Maryland Eastern Shore.
It was close. Danielle almost made it in. Heather Melvin struck out in the 9th and the 10th frame to beat Danielle and to slip past her and into the finals.
And then we'll conclude our taping, obviously, with the men's championship. And again, we don't know who's going to be in there yet. But we will not have Weber and National in either final. And we'll have the Wichita women in the final.
Yeah, the McKendree men also getting knocked out yesterday. With a player of the year, A.J. Johnson. They got swept in 2 matches and knocked out last night. It was kind of a surprise. And
I know Robert Morris men got beat earlier this morning. And I know this because I walked by, I was just out to get something to drink and walked by a extraordinarily unhappily Marshall Kent.
Yeah.
Extremely mad at himself for not closing the deal and what turned out to be the elimination game. But they're still alive. They were in a winner's bracket, so they'll be back to later on today.
Yeah, they've only got 1 loss, so they still have a chance to make it on to the TV show. Tough to get there from the losers bracket, though. Maryland Eastern Shore up by 5 early here in Game 4. And we're just started with Game 4 between Midland and Calumet, with Midland up 3-0. April Ellis sent me a text message, said thanks Dave for the tell Dave thanks for the shout out.
Oh, absolutely. I love
must
it.
Be watching.
Yep. Hopefully she'll be competing in here in July.
Yeah,
down
at the
road,
Queens.
At the Queens. Hope to see her there.
There's a break after this round of Well, it's scheduled for 2 hours, but we were a little behind schedule this morning, had some matches go long, but going to have a long break after this round, and then, again, they've got to bring up the pipe and drape and start to get set up for the TV show, so they have a little bit of an extended lunch break to give them some time to get that done. But we still have at least 2 rounds of matches this evening, maybe 3. We almost always have 3.
It seems like there's always one
Yep.
hanger-on, so to speak, that brings this event into overtime, which it gets extremely intense.
Oh yeah, I love it. I mean, it means we got to be here for an extra couple hours, but it's worth it because those are the most exciting matches you can have.
We're not going anywhere anyway, so we don't want
Exactly.
to go anywhere. We don't want to go anywhere. This is. I kind of wish all the folks who are in on the chat and who are watching, and the people who get to watch us at home, would have a chance to come here and see this event in person. Particularly the days that Lucas was talking about the first couple of days here are just insane.
Yeah, those first couple of rounds of match play here are pretty nuts with everybody bowling at once, and then it gets more focused as we move along here with less matches, which actually can make it even more intense because the focus is on such a bright spotlight on these matches when it's the only matches going on.
And again, these are young people,
Yep.
18, 19, 20 years old. You're putting them under a ringer. This is, some of them are throwing a shot, maybe the last shot they'll throw competitively, other than moving on to league bowling. Some may be good enough to compete in high-end professional tournaments or regionals, but it's. I'm sure that has to go through their mind when they're up there.
Yeah, and a lot of times when we get to this point, you'll have just one match that's left, and you'll have somebody standing on the approach, needing a strike to win, and there's not a sound in the building. And it's so intimidating. It has to be for these bowlers.
And they have to deal with that, and they also have to deal with the noise, because you don't just stop and wait for everybody to be quiet. Otherwise, we would be here for 24 hours straight. So that for those first couple of days, you're constantly bowling with nothing but noise. It might be 3 lays down, somebody doing a chant for somebody who made a spare. And then you've got to stand up there and hit a big shot yourself with all the noise going around that has nothing to do with your match.
And I think they probably actually prefer to have all the noise versus the pin drop silence, because it gets awkward in here when it gets so quiet.
Yeah, it does. When you can hear only the air conditioner,
yeah, exactly.
And maybe one ball return, yes, it is very quiet. It is, it is that kind of golf quiet that.
Well, an open frame for Maryland Eastern Shore, and so now they lead by just 1 pin, 2.5 to go. Midland men up by 9 halfway through this game. If Midland wins this game on the men's side, they knock out Calumet and advance.
Stephen F. Austin just kind of fell down a well after 3 very strong games, all over 200, averaging about 212 roughly, 213. The best they can do is a 158. So it looks awfully good for Lindenwood to knock that match up in 2.
And Midland women just threw their 4th consecutive strike, and they're looking pretty solid here. They can shoot 223 if they strike out, and Maryland Eastern Shore can only get to 214. So if Midland throws another strike here, they will shut out Maryland Eastern Shore this game and go up 3-1. So here it is. Comes up light, leaves the 2-8. So Midland is going to be at 211. Maryland Eastern Shore can needs to strike in the 9th, 10th, and 11th, and 8 on the fill to win the game.
Well, you talk about the eerie part. I'm looking at your chat. Brandy Hensley, who was in this event last year, bowled on TV, said she wrote, what was eerie about the TV show last year was we could hear the boards on the approach squeak while we walked. And that sums it up.
Feeling, yeah.
It sums it up. You're right. And the TV show atmosphere is different, too, than this.
Yeah. Lights. Cameras, you got all the people packed around. Very different. So 2-11 for Midland, and Maryland Eastern Shore got the strike in the 9th. And so now they're going to need 2 strikes and 8 pins. And the Midland men are going to win in a sweep. They've got 6 in a row, and they are rolling past Calumet. So Calumet's going to be knocked out. But here's the big shot for Maryland Eastern Shore. The difference between a tie match at 2-2 and being down 3-1 is huge. So this is a very important shot for UMES right here. Coming up light, and the 2-pin is not going to go. So Midland is going to go up 3-1 in the women's match.
This is Randy's writing some hilarious posts here. Thought about the whole match. Step, squeak, step, squeak. Now, you know what, Randy, that's going to be on my head now every time I watch somebody on the approach. I'd be curious, just to throw it out there for those who are chatting, and who they think is going to win of the teams that are left, or I'd love to hear thoughts on your predictions for the singles. Who is going to take it? It was Diana being the Queen's champion, the most qualified. Can she handle being on TV better than anybody else? I mean, who do we like here? So that ought to be, I'd love to hear, just read some opinions as we go on here. As we'll get a little bit quieter with Midland moving on their strike string. Finally stopped Lucas with a 9 in the 10th, but they're going to put a handsome score up and to eliminate Calumet. Midland really caught fire the last 3 games, 239, 227, and at the moment at 234.
Looks like Clark is on the verge of getting on the board and avoiding elimination. They are up by a pretty decent margin on Wichita State this game, and I just put the jinx on them because they just left a split in the 8th. It never fails. They're still up by 38 pins, even with the split. So it looks like that one's going to go another game. Lindenwood and Stephen F. Austin are 2-2 in the other women's match. Well, Dave, I don't think it's any coincidence that you show up and we have our biggest audience of the week. Either that or it grows as we go along.
I'd like to think it grows. Well, you know, for the ego, thank you for saying that, but I think we both know the answer. Has little to do with me. You know, we used to have the Chris Barnes rule that if Barnes were here and we got to 1,000 viewers, he would sing in his Kermit the Frog voice. But Chris isn't here, and I don't know if Carolyn can sing, and we haven't seen her yet. She'll be here in a little while. So
yeah, we're doing pretty good.
And
Almost
I don't do
900
Kermit
viewers.
The Frog, so
yeah, except me either.
I'm so sorry. I can do a respectable "Oh Canada," but we don't have obviously any Canadian colleagues. We have probably some people from Canada bowling, but
yeah, there are actually. The anchor bowler for Urbana, Graham Fa, is Canadian, and he just got done bowling the Open Championships a couple of days ago at the National Bowling Stadium. He bowled a 300 game, and a 290 game, and an 836 series, and they moved to they got it within 10 pins of the team lead in that event. The team of college bowlers, Chris Vi on that team as well.
Well, we're getting some votes here for Elise Bolton, Heather Melvin, Lindenwood for team. The Lindenwood women right now 2-2 with Stephen F. Austin, with a loser knocked out of the competition.
Time to do some fancy work over here so that I can
Right, for heaven's
feature
sakes, get the names right now. All right.
Feature the women's match a little more since the men's match is over.
Well, Calumet is out of the event. They beat Purdue earlier, jumped out on them 3-0. Purdue came back and made it a match, but they ultimately eliminated the Boilermakers. But now Calumet is out themselves. Midland will move on. And Wichita State just stunningly bad, 148. They've trended in the wrong direction in these 4 games. They opened with a 200.
They're going like the stock market.
Yep.
Yeah. Like my
162.
401k.
Well, speak for yourself. And 148. You'd like to think there's nowhere to go up for the Shockers. And the good news for them is they still have a 3-1 lead on Clark because Clark struggled early on as well. Wichita State actually won a game, 162 to 146.
Bit of a struggle here in our women's match. It's 9-pin lead from Midland. Both teams with opens in the third. It's a little bit low scoring. Stephen F. Austin has got it going on over there. Strike, spare, triple. And by the way, in that Stephen F. Austin Lindenwood match, the team on the right lane has won every game. So that trend looks to be continuing. We have to look for trends like that in these matches.
It's always amazed me how the lanes so close to each other can be completely different. And the best bowlers in the world will find a lane that they could literally sleep on. It's so comfortable, and then they find one that sword fights them every step of the way, every roll of the ball, and it's a science to try to figure out how to conquer that one lane that's not your friend.
That's right. And it looks like that lane has been a struggle for both teams.
So that goes to 7. Who finishes on that lane?
It would be Stephen F. Austin.
All right, keep that in the back of your mind.
Yeah. So we've gone to just watching one pair here, Midland and Maryland Eastern Shore, because the men's featured match ended quickly. A 4-0 sweep by Midland over Calumet. Look at that, tripping out the 4-9 for Midland. They lead by 9 pins, although if Maryland Eastern Shore doesn't make this washout, then they're going to fall even further behind here. It's got a chance. Nope. Open frame. So now Midland's up 21, half a game to go. And if Midland wins this game, then the Midland fans will be pretty happy, because both Midland teams will have won.
Also, we're hearing another Canadian bowler, Chelsea King for Stephen F. Austin, is Canadian.
Oh, there you go. There's a lot of Canadians that sneak in there. They're kind of sneaky. It's hard to tell where they are.
They're polite.
You got to listen for the A when they talk.
He says Lucas Wiseman, friend. Lucas Wiseman. Jason Overstreet in the building, everybody.
Strike for UMES. Kind of rebound after that open. They've got 3 opens this game in 6 frames, and that's never positive.
Now the good news though for them is Midland has 2
exactly.
in 6, so but Midland
close.
also has the hammer over their heads with 3 wins to 1.
A lot less pressure on Midland this game than Maryland Eastern Shore.
And well, I don't want to say it yet, but we're in a position to have something unique in the women's tournament, but I don't want to reverse jinx or jinx anybody at this point.
Lindenwood still has a chance to win that game against Stephen F. Austin. They put 3 strikes in a row together, and so it still is not determined. You can follow the live scoring, by the way, the X-Bowling live scoring. If you go to bowl.com/ITC and click on the results page, you can find the link to the live scoring to keep an eye on these other matches. It's a 9-pin lead from Midland here in the 7th frame. But Maryland Eastern Shore is facing an always awkward 4-5 split.
There's CDB just walked in right now.
Yeah, Carolyn Dorn-Ballard is here, huh?
And you're right, she looks less intimidating today because she's not in bowling gear. Oh, just shaved half a hair off that pin. and could not get it to fall in that 4-5. The 4 stayed up. So for Maryland Eastern Shore, they're in a hole now, and if they cannot win this game, they are out, and then we'll lose the defending champion on the women's side.
Well, Stephen F. Austin opened again. Maryland Eastern Shore is fighting for their lives here.
Big strike for them in the 8th.
Yeah, they're down 21. They're going to have to finish strong if they want to stay in the tournament. Midland wins this game. And they win the match and knock our defending women's champions out of the tournament.
What's Maryland Eastern Shore's max is what, 180, right?
Yep.
So,
Maryland Eastern Shore can only shoot 180 if they strike out.
They're going to need every one of those pins.
Big strike.
And they may get them.
Yeah. And that cuts it to 11.
And this is where the unpredictability of college bowling comes in. We don't know how Midland's going to react.
That's way right.
And there's your answer.
2-4-10. It's going to make it real close here going into the 10th frame.
This is where you turn to your anchor if you're a U.S.
Yeah, strike here, and Maryland Eastern Shore will take the lead for sure. That's left.
Out.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
That's a huge break right there, crossing over for the Brooklyn strike, 3 in a row, and take the lead. Midland has to make this split now to have any chance this game. I don't know if this is one of those situations where they're going to play chicken or what here, but
I saw Wichita State do that today. They had a gap in one of their it was women's matches against Midland, about 3 frames. Well, they waited to see what Midland was going to do.
Looks like neither team wants to bowl. At some point, somebody has to bowl.
Yes.
It looks like Maryland Eastern Shore is going to go. If she strikes here, they're going to be the upper 170s, 180 max.
What would you prefer? Would you prefer to be Maryland Eastern Shore and go ahead and fire away here?
I would just get up there and throw the strike and put this thing away. She's crossing over again. Oh, wow. Rough 10th frame.
Well, you can't expect that to fall.
169 is what they're going to be at now. And open frame. And that Midland had to make that to have a chance.
Yep.
And now they don't. It is mathematically over. Maryland Eastern Shore wins the game.
And still alive. They faced. They were at 90 after an open frame in the 7th, and they pulled the match out. And that's that unpredictability that we talked about quite a bit. Stephen F. Austin, the best they can do is punch out for 209, and they're pretty much...
It's still kind of close.
Pretty close. Almost have to do it.
Stephen F. Austin went spare open in their last 3 frames. And you can see Nicole Parkhurst on the far left side of your screen. If she gets another strike, she shuts them out. Wichita State men are up by 12. If they win that game, they win the match against Clark. All right, so Midland 3, Maryland Eastern Shore 2. And I always say that if we're going to have matches go long, we might as well have them on the featured pair. So
you're not the jinx you think you are.
Stephen F. Austin wins that game. So, as expected, the team on the right lane won another game. So Stephen F. Austin leads 3-2.
So if you're a betting man, and we are in a betting town, we're going 7 on that one. If the right lane theory holds up. Meantime, Clark is not going down without a fight. They've doubled in the 7th and the 8th. They still have quite a bit to overcome, but not out of it yet. Excuse me, tripled in 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, Clark just took the lead by a couple of pins, although Wichita State can grab it back if they strike. This is all going on off camera, and they just did strike going into the 10th, so it is a 2-pin lead for Wichita State going into the 10th frame with both teams working on strings of strikes.
So you've got Maryland Eastern Shore and Lindenwood's women facing elimination, and Clark facing elimination in this game. And that did not sound like a strike. You can't see the Clark-Wichita State match, but it's pretty obvious by the reaction that that was not a strike. It's a 7. It's a 3 left for Clark. So now the best they're going to be able to throw is a 190. That's if they convert. And we just can't see due to the volume of people and the location of our cameras what Clark has left. So a pressure-packed spare for Clark attempt. We don't know how easy or difficult that is. I guess, can you see it, Lucas?
2-4-5. Yeah, so actually it looks like if Wichita State makes their spare, they will have a chance to shut out Clark, and Wichita State will advance 4-1. So Clark is shooting their spare, and he made it, so that forces Wichita State to make their spare. Maryland Eastern Shore with the awkward baby split with a sleeper leave for open. Wichita State made the single pin. So Wichita State looks like they're going to...
yeah, barring a real disaster. It's not completely locked down, but... Wichita State's got to get 7.
Yes.
To lock it out.
Looks like Clark struck on the fill. So 190 for them, and Wichita State, you're right, needs 7 for the shutout.
Well, let's see if I can.
Midland on our featured match here, spare double.
Wichita State got a strike?
Yep, sounded like enough. There's another strike from Midland, 3 in a row, and they've got a big lead early here this game. Wichita State advances 4-1 over Clark. Both men's matches over with Wichita State and Clark both advancing.
And shockingly, in the Stephen F. Austin Lindenwood match, the team on the right lane has gotten off to a faster start. Stephen F. Austin has had open, and Lindenwood left it open, and then has come back with consecutive strikes.
Yeah, and if it goes according to plan, Lindenwood would win this game, you know, because the team on the right lane has won every game.
And
so
Stephen F. Austin would finish on that right lane because that would be the 7th and deciding game.
That's right.
Unless they tied.
That's right.
Aha.
Yeah, then we'd have a game 8.
And
that would flip it. Yep.
Boy, Midland on fire. 4 in a row.
Yeah, if Midland wins this game, it's over. Their defending women's champs are going to be knocked out. So really, Maryland Eastern Shore, they've got to keep striking here if they want to hang in this match, because Midland is showing no signs of stopping anytime soon.
Probably the most important question of the day was asked by Wayne Scott, who wants to know what color pants Clark is wearing. They are not yellow today. I saw them last night. They're more standard dark, Wayne.
See if Midland can get another one here. A little light, and hey, look, it's another baby split with a sleeper. Carolyn loves that leave. But that's important for Maryland Eastern Shore because now that might give them an opportunity here. Let's see what they do. And there's another strike, 4 in a row. Backs against the wall, and they're hanging in there.
Yeah, that's a championship program and a championship team. And you can't be too shocked by it. And a complete miss by Midland. Yeah. They don't pick up any of the pins that were there, so their momentum falls off the cliff at 131 through 6.
They lose a lot of pins in count right there by not getting any.
That's almost like starting the game over in a weird, and certainly emotionally it is. There's going to be a lot of heat on their number 2 bowler who's bowling in the 7th frame.
And Maryland Eastern Shore with that open has taken the lead by 7.
Amazing.
Turned so quick.
Well, that's the fun of the college bowling. Now, it's not fun if you're rooting for or involved in an agonizing turn like that, but from our point of view, that's what makes it great. Midland hits again, though. What, they come right back. Another strike for them. That's an unbelievably important strike.
Yeah, I got to try to grab as much momentum as you can back there. Let's see if UMES can keep it going. Looks pretty good. Oh wow! Look, talk about momentum.
Oh my!
It's like somebody just took a needle and popped the balloon right there. 7-10 split in the 7th, and they go from leading the match to now trailing. Just that quick.
Next door to them, Stephen F. Austin has yet to strike. They have marked in frames 3 and 4, but
they're only down 10 because Lindenwood missed a couple of spares,
including a single pin in the 4th. So again, if Stephen F. Austin can find the key to what's been the lane of death, that left lane, and they do strike in the 5th.
It sounds so ominous. The
it
lane
does.
Of
Well, it's like group of death and
UTV
the World
people.
Cup, and that's all we know how to do. Is
you could work for
overhype
Fox
things.
News with that kind of thing.
Anyway, I prefer Bowl TV.
That's right. Bowl TV is awesome and not political. So an open frame from Maryland Eastern Shore in the 7th. And Midland now up by 7. Flipped so quick. And in the other match, Stephen F. Austin can tie it with a strike. And keep an eye on that, let you know.
Midland goes 9 and open again.
Yeah, not good.
Or not again, first time in this game for them, but they've had 2 opens with not even any count at all. And that's devastating.
Now it flips back the other way,
Yep.
and Maryland Eastern Shore is in the lead. And Stephen F. Austin did throw another strike in that match next door.
Well.
So it's even.
But Lindenwood has been steady since the last 3 frames, spare, strike, spare.
Good shot by Maryland Eastern Shore, leaving with 7 pin. Spare here, they're up 5. Oh, and a split now for Midland.
Whoa.
Man, this is a very strange game.
I've got to think, and I'm not the expert's standing a couple feet to my right, that there's going to be some nerves in play here.
Yeah, it gets real nerve-wracking when you get in these situations. Well, it's the 4-7-10. It's makeable. Got to hit the left side of the 4-pin, slide it over. See what happens here. That's not quite going to get it. Yeah, it just started a little bit too far right to get it. It did hook a little more than I thought, but open frame. And now it almost looks pretty certain that Maryland Eastern Shore is going to win this game, and we will have a Game 7.
Careful. Midland's anchor bowler is very good. She can, if she punches out, it's 198. Yeah, strange.
Well, with a mark here, Maryland Eastern Shore will be in pretty good shape, but it's been a strange game, so let's see what happens.
Stephen F. Austin, by the way, opens in the 7th.
It's a good shot. Leave a 10-pin. Spare there. They're up 15 going into the 10th. So Midland must double here to have any chance. And that is way left.
No, way off. 7th game?
Looks like it. Yep. If Midland makes this spare, they can shoot 188, and that would force Maryland Eastern Shore to get good count, to make this spare and get good count in the 10th. Lindenwood leading by 12 on Stephen F. Austin with a couple of frames to go. Spare's good. And Midland missed their spare, so it's 177 for them. And now Maryland Eastern Shore needs like 3 pins on the first ball.
No.
So we are going to have a game 7 here.
I think we're going to have 2 of them.
Yeah.
It looks very good for Lindenwood unless they make a major mistake. Now, Stephen F. Austin in the 9th does get a strike. So they can max out at 191. And they're going to have to. And UMass will finish in style, and they will go to a 7th game to keep their championship repeating hopes alive. There's a TV comment for you right there. That was TV announcer all the way there. A big strike for Lindenwood in the 10th. And Stephen F. Austin, anchor, unable to come up with a strike. And in fact, may have left a real mess.
Yeah, that one's going to go to a game 7.
Yeah, that's no, that's not going to be made. So yeah, we're going to have 2 game 7s on the women's side.
And both of our men's matches ended pretty quick. Midland and Wichita State winning.
So who is coming back this afternoon, Lucas? Let's see if I can. I don't have the brackets directly in front of me. Who do we have coming back? You have the brackets directly in front of me now.
Let's see. Put it on the computer and let's take a look. And we can figure out who's going to be on the featured pairs next round. Well, I got to refresh it here. Let's see. Well, it looks like I don't have an updated copy of the bracket for the men.
Well, let's see.
We can probably figure it out.
Wichita State, Clark, we've done that already. Wichita State will take on the loser of lane 24, and that was... We can't find lane
Robert
24.
Morris. Yeah, I think that Wichita State is going to bowl Robert Morris on our featured pair next round.
Stink.
Yeah, that's a terrible break, isn't it? That's going to be one of the best matches of the tournament so far, I think.
And then the winner of that will play Urbana, so Urbana got the double bye.
Yes, they did.
And that's one half. What's the other half look like?
I was calling up the women's.
Okay, that's fine too.
Try to figure out who we have on 21 and 22.
You're going to have, is it Pikeville? Right?
It's going to be this match down here, which is going to be Sacred Heart and the winner of Lindenwood and Stephen F. Austin.
Okay. And the survivor of the UMass Midland will take on its Grandview, right? Who lost to Pikeville today? Pikeville? Right?
Yes.
Yes. So Pikeville gets the double bye, and it'll be a Grandview against the winner of UMass and Midland. That'll be our post-lunch match.
That's right.
So again, Pikeville gets that double bye through, as does Robert Morris for the women.
Yeah, and that next round is scheduled to start with practice at 1:30 Pacific time. And
yes.
I think that it'll probably, unless they need extra time to set up for the TV stuff down there, I think that will probably be pretty close because we're running about half an hour behind schedule right now. So.
Think you can persuade Carolyn to sit in?
Maybe. We'll have to see.
I think you should. So the 7th games, and here's the pattern in the Stephen F. Austin-Lindenwood match. 6 games, right lane is 6-0 versus the left lane. So Stephen F. Austin opens in the right lane with an open frame. And appears to be in a little bit of trouble again on that lane. While Lindenwood opens up spare strike.
Maryland Eastern Shore with an open in the second, so it's a 13-pin lead for Midland here in Game 7.
But just for the sake of comedy, I'd like to point out that there is a chance for an 8th game.
Of course.
Technically, there's a chance for a 9th game.
There's always a chance. There's no 9th game. It's a 9th and 10th frame roll-off at that point.
I was hoping we could have like a Wimbledon, 3 hours set in the 5th set like they do. But Lindenwood off very solidly. Spare strike, spare strike.
And Midland spare double, and they are now up by 23. So Midland setting the early tone here, and this open frame for Maryland Eastern Shore increases that lead for Midland over 30 pins.
That's back-to-back.
Now a 35-pin lead for Midland, and it'll be 45 if they strike here for 3 in a row in the 4th.
Meantime, Lindenwood just doubled, and Stephen F. Austin is 17 pins through just 2.
And Stephen F. Austin is on the lane that the winner has had each game. That's a little bit of a surprise. Maryland Eastern Shore's got to get something going here. Back-to-back opens. There's a strike.
Yep.
They're down by 34 pins as we wrap up the 4th frame.
Lindenwood destroying that left lane now.
Yeah, now 3 in a row for Lindenwood over there in that other match. They are up big. Maryland Eastern Shore looking for a double. That one goes high. Mariana Alvarado's struggled a bit here. Keeps going high. And it's still a big lead for Midland and for Lindenwood in these 2 matches in Game 7.
I've been impressed with the mental game that Midland plays. They don't seem to rattle. I mean, they handled Wichita State. They weren't intimidated in knocking them out, and they may be on the verge of knocking out the defending champs. So they faltered a bit at the end of that last game, obviously. But I don't think they're going to just fade. I'd be surprised if they did.
Midland can really pop him in the jaw right here with another strike. And it's a bucket. Count doesn't matter because it's on a strike, but Midland really could have taken a massive lead if they'd have struck right there. They're already up 34 as it is. That would have put them up 44 with 4 frames to go.
Well, both of these ultimate matches are kind of on the same pace early.
Oh, boy.
One dominant team, and one team gets off to a slow start, and now you just saw Maryland Eastern Shore really hurt itself there. That's going to make that bucket a little bit easier to deal with.
It's a tough spare. Never liked to shoot the bucket. She missed it. But the good news for Midland is they're so far ahead, and with Maryland Eastern Shore shooting a split here, they're still going to be up by a wide margin.
Some suggestions from our audience, and Tania Falbo checking in on it also about that UMass needs to be moving more right than they have been.
Well, they're down 36 with 4 frames to go. It's not a good position to be in for sure. And the other match is a 33-pin lead for Lindenwood.
And more. They just... Well, I would love to find out what are they doing differently on the left lane that they were unable to do in the left lane, or either team was able to do on that left lane for 6 games.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe just pure coincidence, who knows? But when you see trends like that, it's usually a pretty good indicator. Well, strike for Maryland Eastern Shore. They pretty much, I think, are going to need to strike out to have a chance here and get some help. Stephen F. Austin just threw a double.
But is it too late for them because Lindenwood's not caving at all?
Yeah, Stephen F. Austin still down by 23. Lindenwood just threw a double, so it's looking tough.
Well, Lindenwood, that's not terribly far from St. Louis. It's big bowling country there.
Oh, yeah. All right, Maryland Eastern Shore essentially in a must-strike situation here. They got to put a double on the board. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Look at that. A little love tap on the 7. They cut it down to 26 now. Let's see what Midland does here in the 8th. It's a good hit, leaves 10-pin.
Well, Lindenwood, it's just...
Yeah, that one's pretty much over at this point.
If you're going to win, you're going to wrap up knock somebody out, knock them out, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're leaving an absolute no-doubter there.
Big strike.
Well, now.
They're not going away. That cuts it down to 15 and put some pressure on Midland here to make the spare.
They did.
I said 3 frames ago that Maryland Eastern Shore needed to strike out to have a chance, and so far, so good.
It's on their anchor to do it.
Maryland Eastern Shore can strike out for 201, and that would force Midland to get a double at some point.
And the fun continues for Lindenwood. They've strung together 4 straight going into the 10th. So is it safe to call that one?
That one is over.
So Stephen F. Austin and the Lady Lumberjacks will be knocked out.
9th frame here from Midland. It's not a bad shot. Another 10-pin, though. This is a huge shot from Maryland Eastern Shore. They desperately need a strike.
Midland desperately needs that spare.
It's left again.
She
carried it.
Crossing over.
Yeah, she keeps missing lefts pretty consistently, and she gets lucky on that one. She's going to have to make a better shot in the next frame, I think.
All right, good spare.
That's just not going to get it done.
No.
You can't. It's not reliable. That's the problem. Is you can't. Yeah, she needs to make a move, and she's needed to make a move for about a game and a half. But when you only get, 2 frames a game, it's hard to make big moves. So here's the situation: Midland can strike out for 205. Maryland Eastern Shore can strike out for 201. So no matter what Maryland Eastern Shore does, Midland has a chance. But a strike here forces Midland to double.
Let's see who's going to go first.
It's going to be Maryland Eastern Shore. That's a better shot. She got it right, and wow, that was perfect. That was huge right there. She had not been lined up for the last 3 frames, and she finally gets the ball right and gets the shot, and Midland does not strike on that shot, so Maryland Eastern Shore survives and advances.
Incredible. Well,
what a match.
I said I'd be surprised if Midland gave it away, but you go back to that 6th frame.
Yep.
When they gave away a bunch of pins, couldn't get the conversion, and did not get a strike after the 5th frame on.
Maryland Eastern Shore was dead in the water in the 6th frame, and they rattled off 5 strikes in a row, and these Baker matches can change at the drop of a hat, and that's what happened.
Yep, and that's what we love the game.
Midland. Yep.
259 for Lindenwood,
yes.
By the way. That's the best score I've seen all day.
Yeah, big win for Lindenwood as they knock out Stephen F. Austin. So our winners on the women's side in this round are Lindenwood and Maryland Eastern Shore. And our defending women's champions, as Rainey Peterson would say, show some maple moxie here in the end of this match. And
what I was going to say is that we were on pace there several times for us to have our first women's show without either Maryland Eastern Shore or Weber in it. And that's still alive.
It is.
At least since I've been involved. We've had one of those 2 schools in there, and they've been the champions. 2010 was Weber, 11 was UMass, 2012 was Weber, last year was UMass, and UMass is still alive while Weber's women are out.
Well, nice round of applause for the teams that get knocked out of this round, Stephen F. Austin and Midland. And there's going to be some tears out there by some seniors whose season are over, and high fives for Lindenwood and Maryland Eastern Shore. And that's going to wrap up this round. And so we have a break until we come back on with live streaming in about 2 hours is when the live streaming will come back on. So hope you'll come back and join us. Dave, thanks for sitting in.
My pleasure. Yeah. I'm counting on Carolyn coming in and taking over my spot so people can actually get bowling education. No.
Well, I'll let those two fight it out during the break.
I can't win that. I already know. I ain't going to win.
But we'll see you guys back here in just a little bit. About 2 hours, we'll get started with our next round here on Bowl TV.
You can store